नमः शिवाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर
Krishna
श्रीवास
Chaitanya Prabhu
गौरभक्तमान्य
Nityananda
हरे कृष्णा
Srivasadi
कृष्ण
Gaurav
कृष्णा हरे 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 राम
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama
would
Rama
like
Hare Hare.
to share what we discussed in our last session.
Prabhuji, in the beginning of chapter 6, Lord
Yes.
Krishna defines who is a true sannyasi.
Mm-hmm.
He says that like not doing one's prescribed duties does not mean to be sannyasi, but a
Mm-hmm.
true sannyasi is the one who does his prescribed duties but
Mm-hmm.
renounces the fruits of actions.
Correct. Wonderful. Very nice. Yes. What else? Okay.
Prabhuji, one more thing is that
Mm-hmm.
whatever activities we do, we have to do it in Krishna consciousness, as in like uh, whatever we are doing, it should be dedicated to Krishna,
Mm-hmm.
and any activity without Krishna consciousness is it shouldn't be in the self-interest, basically.
Correct.
Any act.
Mm. Yes. Anyone else?
And we also should not forget that we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. We don't
Mm-hmm.
have any separate identity. And that
Mm-hmm.
will always remind us that we have to control our mind and our senses and put them in the service of Supreme Lord.
Mm. Correct. And this particular example Prabhupada has mentioned in the purport as a Udra Narayana example, that how, body parts serve the body, like that Prabhupada
Yes.
has given in the purport also this example. So same way, Krishna should be the center of all our activities, beneficiary of all our activities, and that is how fifth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita ended. भोक्ताराम यज्ञ तपसाम सर्वलोक महेश्वरम सुहृदम सर्वभूतानां यात्वा माम शांतिम पृच्छति. That all kind of tapasyas, Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam, all kind of yagnas is meant for Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. Bhokta means he is the enjoyer. He is the supreme enjoyer who Krishna. Yes, anything else?
And Prabhuji, we also studied about yogi and sannyasi
Mm-hmm.
in the last lecture, that yogi, basically there is not much difference, because a
Mm-hmm.
yogi is a person who is engaging everything in the service of Krishna, and a sannyasi is a person who knows that anyways everything belongs to Krishna.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yes. Anything else?
In this verse, Prabhuji, it was also taught about the peace formula.
Mm-hmm.
We should not hanker around various things, but
Mm-hmm.
Krishna wants us to be peaceful,
Mm-hmm.
ultimate peace.
Yes. That ultimate peace was last to last session. Means how one can have a peace. So how that one can have a peace? So now Krishna is started this chapter 6. So initially Krishna shared two things. Yeah, yes, anyone else would like to share anything else? Anything else? Okay. So Krishna shared two things. He mentioned about yogi and sannyasi, who is a yogi and who is a sannyasi, and what is the difference. So we have to understand, as mentioned as Ramchandra Gupta ji, he mentioned that a sannyasi is the one who perform his prescribed duty as he is obligated He performs all his duties, prescribed duty as per the dharma, but he renounces the result in the service of Krishna. Sannyasi is not the one who is wearing a dress, but who performs his duty and renounces the result of his duty in the service of Krishna. That is the meaning, or that is a true sannyasi. And who is a yogi? A yogi is the one who restrains all his senses and mind from sense gratification and completely absorbed himself in the meditation of Krishna. So yogi is the one who is completely restrained all his senses and mind, and he is engaged in the meditation of Krishna. So in the purport, Prabhupada explained that how a Krishna conscious person is a sannyasi and a yogi both. A Krishna conscious person is always engaged in the direct service of Krishna, whether he is singing the glories of Krishna, performing Sankirtan, preparing bhoga, cleaning the temple, dressing the deities, offering various kind of worship to the deities, or preaching about Krishna, his glories. So what he is doing? Activity as well as fruit of activity both are for Krishna. And by doing so, his mind is completely absorbed in Krishna. So that is how we learn these two things from the 6th chapter, first and second verse. Now we will move forward, third verse of 6th chapter. All of you please join in. Arurokshar
Arukrokthamuneryogam
karma karanam uchyate
karma karanamukhyate
yoga ruddhasya tasyeva
yogarudasya tasyeva
sama karanam uchyate.
shamah karanamachyate.
Yes, anyone would like to chant the shloka?
Arukshormuneryogam karma karanam uchyate yogarudasya tasyeva sama karanam uchyate.
Yes. Anyone else?
मुमुक्षोर्मुनेर्योगं कर्म कारणम् उच्यते योगारूढस्य तस्यैव समः कारणम् उच्यते.
Wonderful. Anyone else?
Aruroksur muneryogam karma karnam uchyate yogarudhasya tasyeva sama karanam uchyate.
Wonderful. Yes, anyone else? We'll read the translation. For one who is neophyte, the eightfold yoga system, work is said to be the means, and for one who has already attained to yoga, cessation of all material activities is said to be the means. We'll read purport, then we will understand in detail. The process of linking oneself with the Supreme is called yoga, which may be compared to a ladder for attaining the topmost spiritual realization. This ladder begins from the lowest material condition of the living entity and rises up to the perfect self-realization in pure spiritual life. According to various elevations, different parts of the ladder are known by different names. But all in all, the complete ladder is called yoga and may be divided into three parts, namely Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and Bhakti. The beginning of the ladder is called the Yoga Ruruksha stage, and the highest rung is called Yoga Rudha. Concerning the Eightfold Yoga system, attempts in the beginning to enter into meditation through regulative principles of life and practice of different sitting postures, which are more or less bodily exercise, are considered fruitive material activities. All such activities lead to achieving perfect mental equilibrium to control the senses. When one is accomplished in the practice of meditation, he ceases all disturbing mental activities. A Krishna conscious person is, however, situated from the beginning on the platform of meditation because he is always thinking of Krishna. And being constantly engaged in the service of Krishna, he is considered to have ceased all material activities. So here, Krishna is mentioning about two categories of yogis or practitioners of yoga. One is yoga aruksha, means one who is neophyte. Neophyte means who is just beginner of yoga, who is just beginner in the process of yoga. Second is yoga ruddhasya, means the one who is in advanced stage, who has attained samadhi or completely absorbed in meditation. So for the first one, who is neophyte or beginner, for him, as yoga, this eightfold Ashtanga yoga starts with yama, niyama, then pratyahara, pranayama, pratyahara, like that it goes. So a beginner is supposed to start his journey or process by following the do's and don'ts and some basic pranayam, asanas to control his mind and senses. Along with that, he is also supposed to engage in karma yoga. Why? Because by engaging in karma yoga, by performing activities, material activities, he will develop a sense of detachment. Once he develops that sense of detachment, it is easy for him to make progress in the process of yoga. And if we see, a sannyasi is one who has completely developed this detachment by offering all his fruits in the service of Krishna. And yogi, he works on the platform of karma yoga, performs his work, and also practices Ashtanga yoga, initial stages of Ashtanga yoga, so that he can also practice detachment. And gradually, he will make advancement and come to the level of yoga ruddhasya. In a yoga ruddhasya stage, advanced stage, he is completely detached from all kind of sensual activities. He has full control over his mind and senses. Therefore, he is able to think of Krishna, meditate upon him very easily. So if we see, the purpose of this existence, or for that matter, even Varnashrama Dharma, various gradations, like there are 4 Varnas, 4 Ashramas. Brahmachari, Grasta, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So all these are created for what purpose? That one can purify himself and realize his existence, who he is, what is his relationship with that Supreme Personality of Godhead, that he is part and parcel of that Supreme Personality of Godhead. He can realize that. That is the purpose of this entire creation and even this Varnashrama Dharma. So if we see with this verse that how beautiful is our Sanatana Dharma, and even this process of yoga where each category of people, whether they are advanced, beginner or intermediate stage, everyone is appreciated, encouraged, respected. Everyone has a certain role to play and certain meaning is there. So if we see Sanatana Dharma includes all varieties of people, whether a person is eating non-veg, is inclined towards eating flesh. So for such person, how he should eat, that is prescribed in the scriptures. So all these descriptions are there. That everything or everyone has a utility. No one is useless. Sometimes we say no, oh you are useless. There is a nice this thing people say, even a clock which is not working, out of order, shows correct time twice a day. That clock is not working, but still that clock shows correct time twice a day. A person, he may not work. That's why there is a famous scientist, I think Einstein only, he shared that we should not compare fish ability to climb the tree. Like this, in the material world, many times we fall in criticizing, especially it happens in the corporate world, where people competencies or skills are gauged rather than their character or their ability in other fields. Everyone has certain uniqueness in themselves. We should not fail to recognize this. And how this can be dovetailed in Krishna consciousness, this is how Prabhupada he taught to the entire world. There were various people from various backgrounds, different backgrounds. Somebody is good in painting, so Prabhupada engaged in making art related to Krishna, Krishna's photos, Krishna's pictorial pastimes. Someone is good in speaking, so Prabhupada engaged in preaching. Someone is good in cooking, engaged in preparing bhoga. So like that, different talents or abilities of the people were engaged in Krishna consciousness. That too, just like here, Krishna also has mentioned, a person is beginner, another person is advanced. So there are two variety or category we can see a person who is weak or a person who is very strong. So how we should treat or how we should deal, because we being a social animal, we cannot seclude ourselves from dealing with the people. So how we can do that? This comes in Nectar of Instruction. Rupa Goswami explains that how a person who is junior to us, means he is neophyte or he is less advanced to us or he is beginner in comparison to us, how he should be treated, or a person who is advanced than us, who is senior than us, how he should be treated, and a person who is equal to us, how he should be treated. So Rupa Goswami says, a person who is senior to us, we should take his association, we should take inspiration from him. That is how we should, and we should have a respect for him. That is how we should deal with him. A person who is equal to us, we should be very friendly to him. In a friendly manner, we should deal with him. And a person who is junior to us or who is weaker than us, we should be very, very compassionate upon him. Very affectionately, very compassionately, we should deal with him and inspire him to make advancement further in Krishna consciousness. We should extend our helping hand in a affectionately and compassionate way so that he can make advancement. And that is the way Rupa Goswami explained that devotees or people can live in harmony. But in contrast to that, and we should also keep one thing in mind, that each one of us and everyone has a different threshold of tolerating the things and having different patience, all with such qualities. Somebody may have less anger but more of greed. Somebody may have more of anger but less of greed. Somebody may have, a person who is having less of anger, he may be more tolerant and patient. All this person to person varies. We should not end up in seeing the flaws and criticize. When we do that, what happens? The scripture says, when a person is indulging in blaming others, suppose you have done something, some kind of crime a person has committed, you have suppose done some kind of crime, suppose you blame that person, so even though he has committed a crime, you blame him, forgetting various other things. If he is doing unknowingly certain thing, so what will happen? You will get 50% of the consequences of it. You get 50% of the consequences. Suppose a person, he has not done, but still we end up in blaming him. So 100% of the consequences of the karma we will get. In this connection, earlier also I think I have narrated this story there was a king who conducted sadhu bhojan seva. He organized, invited all brahmanas, all various sadhus to his kingdom to feed them food. But unfortunately, what happened when he was serving the food, in one of the brahmanas that plate, when he was honoring that food, from top of it, one eagle was going on, one eagle was flying, having a snake in the claws. So from the mouth of that snake, a drop of venom fallen into the plate of this brahmana. So when this brahmana ate that food, that food got infected with poison and he died there. So when it comes, like who should be punished, who should get the consequence, or who should get reaction for it, killing a brahmana, even Yamraj was confused. Yamraj didn't know who to give the reaction of it. Whether to the king who has organized this Brahman Bhojan Seva, or to the eagle who was carrying the snake, or the snake who is died, but from his fang that drop of poison followed. Whom should be punished? He could not comprehend. So after a few months, again, king invited all the brahmanas. So that time, few brahmanas, when they were entering into the kingdom, they asked one lady, where is the king's palace where he conducts the this Brahman Bhojan Seva? Where should we go? Where is a way? So this lady, she said, no, you should not go. This Brahmana is the killer of the Brahmanas. This king is the killer of the Brahmanas. He feed poison to the Brahmanas. So don't go there. So ultimately, then who got the reaction of it? That lady got the reaction of killing the Brahmana. Lady got the reaction of killing the Brahmana. So even during the time of Mahabharata, these Pandavas, when they were, went to exile into the forest, all, especially Draupadi and Bhima, they started criticizing Yudhishthir Maharaj. Initially, Draupadi started criticizing Yudhishthir Maharaj. That she was taunting that 4 people, Dushasana, Karna, Duryodhan, Shakuni, will be shattering their tears by seeing us going away from this kingdom. They will be shedding the tears. So she was taunting like that, and then she started saying that how you can sit so silently when your wife was insulted in front of all the people. How can you tolerate all these things? You should not forgive. And she narrated the incident of Prahlad Maharaj, how Bali Maharaj, he approached Prahlad Maharaj asking whether showing the strength or forgiving, which one is better. she narrated that sometimes Prahlad Maharaj replied, sometimes forgiving is the solution, sometimes showing the punishing is the solution. So this time Draupadi, she is asking Yudhishthira Maharaj that how can you forgive them? So Yudhishthira Maharaj, he is replying that I am following the path of virtuousness, righteousness, following the path of dharma. And that is why I am very much sure that Krishna will make arrangement that we will get this our kingdom back. He is standing on our side because we are following the dharma. We are following the laws of God. And following the laws of God is as good as following Krishna. So that's why He is with us, even though we have nothing, but He is there standing with us, and I am very sure, I am very confident that He will make arrangement that we will get our kingdom back very soon. So many times we fail to see Krishna's hand. We forget or we fail to see Krishna, who is situated in everyone's heart as a Paramatma. We fail to see His presence. In case of devotees, everything what is happening, Krishna is involved. In case of non-devotees, laws of nature is there, and we are served what we deserve. We get exactly the same thing that we deserve. Not even a pinch of salt is more or less. We get the same thing what we deserve. Whereas in the case of devotees, Krishna is the whole soul controller of everything. Krishna mentions this in Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter. Mani Sutra Gana Ivaha, that he is like a thread which is holding the entire pearl necklace. Mani Sutra Gana Iva. Mani means pearl necklace. A pearl necklace is held by a thread, a string of thread. Whereas the string of thread is not visible, only pearl, nice beautiful pearls are visible. So same way, we as a practitioner, we should not fail to see the hand of Krishna, presence of Krishna. We should perceive His presence in each and every situation, people, objects around us. And when we can develop such vision, we will be able to think of Krishna or meditate upon Krishna 24/7. We'll be able to think of Him. Ananyas Chintayanto Ma will be very easy. Remembering Krishna will be very easy. Just like if we see, we create a city, suppose we have created a city, so-called civilization. Suppose we created some high-tech city, any high-tech city you may take up. the functioning of that city is nothing in front of functioning of a cell, a single cell that is there in our body. Functioning of that cell which is present in our body is much more complicated than the functioning of this city what we have created. So how complicated thing Krishna has created so easily. Just like if we see, we create aircrafts, airplanes, and there are mosquitoes, they are also flying. But two aircrafts cannot produce third one. But these mosquitoes, they can produce. They can reproduce. Small size mosquitoes can reproduce another mosquito. Functioning of cell, if we see the way it acts, even reproduce, grows, discharge the waste, take the material which is just like some nutrition and all those things. The way, even if you see the complexities of brain tissues, is even more complicated. In brain, that's why a lot of brain issues cannot be treated with the medicines, because medicines cannot reach there. Reverse osmosis, process of reverse osmosis doesn't work with the brain, whereas other cells you can inject the medicine with the help of reverse osmosis process. But with brain, this is not the case. So protected it is. So all these things, if we see how Krishna, he has created this system where everything has utility. Everything has a certain utility. So, a person who is practicing yoga from this yoga aruruksha stage, gradually he progressed towards the yoga rudra stage. Yoga rudra stage. He proceeds toward yoga rudra stage. Whereas a Krishna conscious person, from the very beginning, directly or indirectly, is engaged in Krishna's service and he is meditating upon Krishna. And he has ceased all material activities. He is simply engaged in Krishna's service. We'll move towards next verse. Yada hi nendriyartheshu na karmasva anusajate sarva sankalpa sannyasi yoga rudrastatochyate. Translation: a person is said to have attained yoga when, having renounced all material desires, he neither acts for sense gratification nor engages in fruitive activities. But when a person is fully engaged in transcendental loving service of the Lord, he is pleased in himself, and thus he is no longer engaged in sense gratification or in fruitive activities. Otherwise, one must be engaged in sense gratification, since one cannot live without engagement. Without Krishna consciousness, one must be always seeking self-centeredness, self-centered or extended selfish activities. But a Krishna conscious person can do everything for satisfaction of Krishna, thereby be perfectly detached from sense gratification. One who has no realization must mechanically try to escape material desires before being elevated to the top rung of the yoga ladder. So here, Krishna is mentioning that how a person can understand whether he is situated in yoga or not. Yoga means in union with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. First is he renounces all material desires. Second is he performs no fruitive activities. Third is he is free from all kind of sense gratification. So a person who is not performing any material desire, is not having any material desires, is not performing any sense gratificatory activities, or not engaged in fruitive activities. Very clearly, Krishna has mentioned these three things. But if we see these three things, all these three things, in a way, are same only. They are not different. Material desire means what? A person want to have a name, fame, money, all these things. For what purpose? Name, suppose he want to have some name or fame. For what purpose? He is getting sense gratification. How? He is getting social gratification. People will recognize me. My fame will be spread all over the world. People will recognize me, appreciate me. Or fruitive activities. Fruitive activities means what? So this is how material desires and sense gratification are interconnected. And fruitive activities, if we see, fruitive activities is if I am performing certain kind of work, in return what I am getting for myself or extended self. So when we see what I am getting in return, for what purpose? To gratify my senses. If I am working, I am getting salary. For what purpose? Gratify my senses. So a person who is Krishna consciousness, who is practitioner of Krishna consciousness, who is practicing Krishna consciousness, he whatever he does simply for the pleasure of Krishna, for the satisfaction of Krishna. He is fully engaged in loving service of Krishna. There is exchange of love. He is performing loving service to Krishna. And by doing that, he himself is satisfied. A person who is, here Prabhupada is mentioning, one who has no realization of Krishna, he should try mechanically to escape material desires. How? By following the do's and don'ts, yama and niyama. Do's and don'ts in the scriptures, regulative principles. By following regulative principles, do's and don'ts, one should mechanically try to restrain his material desires. Then he can make further advancement gradually in the path of Krishna consciousness or in the yoga. That's how one can make this. So with this, we'll end here. Anyone has any question or anything to share or ask, please feel free to share or ask. Any questions? Okay. So we'll end here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki,
Jai.
Prabhupada ki,
Jai.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare
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 Krishna.
Krishna.